Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings, and this is Ben and Barry on football.
He's Barry, I'm Ben, and I don't really produce any net point power rankings, but I sure do love them. Can't wait for the season to start so we can get back into that. But there's so much other stuff going on in the NFL we like to talk about. Not only the NFL, but football in general. So let's get this thing going.
All right. It's all about the football. We're going to talk about it. Ben, real quick. I didn't even get a chance to mention this to you when we talked a little bit before the show started. Are you seeing the clash? Are you seeing the coming trend, the coming collision of the growth of American-style football as it's being managed by the International Association of American Football and the outreach of the NFL into these foreign markets? And it's like, you seeing kind of what's going on here?
Yes. I've been trying to take note, being the big football fans that we are, we watch NFL Network and ESPN and all that other stuff. And some of the announcements might go past some people, but I try to take note of every AFFA guy that gets picked up by an NFL team and every European guy that gets invited over for a tryout. I know they have gone as far as come up with some different rules as far as who they're allowed to bring over from Europe and what they're allowed to do with them that they wouldn't be able to do ordinarily with, an American football player. So the effort is there. They're trying to give these guys a chance. They're giving them opportunities, and I think that's great.
It's almost like I see some competition. The CFL wants to grow internationally also.
As they should.
And it's just interesting because, if you were to look, when we look out across the world, the United States is where the primo football is being played. There's no doubt about it. NFL is the primo, okay? Everything else is wish. That's where they want to be and beyond.
Right.
But I got a chance to watch. There are some shows that the NFL produces where they're sending people out to foreign countries. Like, I think Beckham kind of led the way with that, but I don't think that was the NFL. I think Beckham just showed up in Germany somewhere and created a stir. You remember that, right? He was with the Giants when he did that.
Yeah, but that was no official anything.
Right. That wasn't an official thing. But now they're doing official things, okay? Russell Wilson and Sierra went to South America, and he's down there throwing footballs, and he's showing up at malls, and they got mobs of people that are coming out, got Russell Wilson jerseys on. And with him, having Sierra with him just magnified the whole situation.
Right.
He's a musical international star. All this music is very international now. So they really, that was a sort of an outreach program. They sent, who was it they sent to Germany? Oh, God. I'm trying to think who it was sent to Germany. But I think it was a receiver. It'll come to me. He did a little bit of everything. He tried on the little short leather pants and the funny German jacket and the little bow tie.
Oh, the Lederhosen.
Okay, Lederhosen. Yeah. You know who it was? Texans quarterback, Deshaun.
Oh, Deshaun wearing Lederhosen?
Had Lederhosen on, yeah.
Okay, that's.
He did it for the cause. He went to Germany. He had people throwing at they had like 5 plastic dummies, they throw the football at them.
Okay.
And it was almost like watching people who obviously this is something that is a new muscle movement for them.
Right.
So, but it was cute. He got a lot of love in Germany, man. And Russell Wilson and them created a sensation down there. They were down there. and I think it's in Rio where they have the statue on top of the mountain.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
They were all the way up there. He's throwing the football to Sierra, you know. So that was a little weird. But in any event, so I see some real outreach. I don't know where the NFL sees itself in 20 years, if they really see itself as having this thing put together in such a way that, games are being played in Rio or games are being played in England and again, is it going to be the 32-man league or is the league going to expand? And, because when you say world champion now, it's a little more of a real, not just an assumptive situation.
Well, now, when you're talking about world champion and you're talking about the NFL and the NBA, you have it in mind that over the long run, the NFL would have teams in European cities, not just like they had when they had the World League, but actual NFL teams in Europe?
Well, see, that's the question. That is the question. What does the NFL, that's what I'm saying, where do they see themselves? They could see themselves as like, okay, this 32-man league is what it is, and 20 years from now, it's still what it is, except now it's on every TV across the world, and that's all they really see themselves, just broadcasting out from that. But but they are at least trying to play games. They got the London games, they got the Mexico games. So they're playing games in other countries, but it's still the same league. They got a lot of other leagues out there now that are trying to form, much less that, we had the AAF just fold, but on its heels now comes the XFL. So I'm just saying a growth in American-style football right now as a movement, because you have an international association that's what they're dedicated to. So with the NFL being the primo American-style football model and league, at some particular point, is somebody else going to try to break into that league? What would that be? Would it be a London? Some geographics come into play there. You know what I mean? If you were
a lot of geographics come into play there.
Yeah.
It would take a lot of tweaking of the schedule for travel and ways to figure out how many games is a team, say, from London going to play in London, and how many times are they going to have to travel to the United States? How many games are they going to play there? It would get a little hairy. When you talk about a world championship, it brings to mind a true world championship would mean that there would have to be other leagues in other places. This is what it means to me. And then the champion of that league maybe plays the champion of this league, or you know what I mean? So the champions of Europe play the champions of Asia, kind of like they do with the Little League World Series. We have the Little League World Series, the kids. They are truly Little League World Champions, because the teams come from all over. They're all the same level, and they play off. The Asian kids all play each other. The Latin American kids all play each other. The kids in America all play each other until they whittle it down. And then they bring everybody to Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and then they play a tournament from there. See, that's doable. You can do that, and that's a true world champion because teams come from everywhere. But if you're going to have a league and call it a world champion, the NFL can still do it because there's no other league that can or probably ever will touch the NFL.
That's my whole point. If you're so far,
but that's why I think that's not their big picture.
When you say probably never will, that's probably where I kind of part from you, That's the question of probability. Possibility, it's always possible. Probability puts a number to it. And when you start, when the funny thing is, because the NFL is trying to export itself, it's literally teaching. For, like you said, it's you're bringing them into the league. Now, basketball, I think, is a little bit further ahead. But
right.
those are people that are being
they're way ahead
to the NBA.
They're way ahead. There's leagues, there's professional basketball leagues all over the world, everywhere. Turkey, China, you name it. Istanbul. There's basketball leagues everywhere. But the NBA remains the preeminent league in the world. No other league can touch the NBA. And in fact, the best players from those other leagues come to play in the NBA. And I think the NFL is going to end up being the same way. It's great that they're expanding the game worldwide, but that's a money move. The more people that know, understand, and enjoy American football will tune in to watch it. Fan bases grow, television profits grow. But the best players are always going to want to bring themselves over. That's an opening that wasn't there for them before. But now that they're learning at a younger age, learning to appreciate the game and have somewhere to go and play it and have coaches that can teach it, of those groups and in those other leagues will have a pipeline, but the best guys are still going to come over here.
Well,
just NBA.
In Europe right now, and I don't have good information except to know that I get these alerts on my phone. They're actually in a playoff time right now in an American-style football league, and I keep seeing like Hamburg this and all of that. So they're playing some football right now in Europe, and we might, if I get a chance, maybe we'll touch in on the Facebook page for the American Alliance of American Football or something like that.
Okay.
In any event, so there's a lot going on. Anything in mind that you want to touch base on, at the forepart of your mind right now?
In the forepart of my mind, would that be like right here?
Yeah, that part right there in the front. Yeah, that one. Yeah, right there. Yep, the forepart.
Okay. What would I like to say about the forepart of my mind? I know. I would much rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
Okay.
Come on, man. Fire away, man. Let's talk football. Let's go.
I like that, actually.
What do you got for me?
Let's share a couple things real quick, just to get kind of warmed up in the football thing. Hold on one second here with me, and let's just share a couple things that popped up. Because, can you see that right there?
Yes, I can.
Again, it's mandatory if there's a list put out, and my Niners are number one, that I share that list with the world. So you understand, I'm sorry, we're kicking off the show like that. Yards from scrimmage, just so everybody can get that historical perspective, okay? You start out with the 49ers, 23,540. I really have to get myself a chain with that number and then get it and hang around my neck here. The Cowboys always on our tail, always chasing us, having a hard time catching up. Emmitt Smith with 21,579. The magnificent Walter Payton, 21,264. Jerry a bad man when he's not even a running back. Marshall Faulk. Did I ever tell you the story about Madden? My little next door neighbors, a year back, we were playing Madden, and he came over the house, and we fired up the game. I was playing him. He was probably like 10, something like that at the time. I'm like 100. And he pulled out the Rams with Marshall Faulk. And you sat the quarterback down, put Marshall Faulk in at quarterback. You talking about the read option, run and shoot. Oh, this was the 10-year-old boy on my case with Marshall Faulk, and he could throw.
The funny thing is, Marshall Faulk could throw.
He could throw.
In fact, I'm going to have to take a quick look and see how many touchdown passes he threw over his career.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
There's a few. He threw a few.
Homework for you right there. Homework. And see, you really gotta like this list. We're right in the middle of it. You come right back to my Niners. Like I always tell my wife, I think I hear her upstairs. You can't talk football without talking about the Niners. You just can't do it. You know, it's like you really haven't discussed the conversation if that team name has in there. Frank Gore. Frank Gore. The most unlikely name in the middle of the all-time greats. It's like everybody be like, yeah. Trying to remember any one run, something that stood out. It's just that constant long-term career with pretty decent production on average, year after year after year over a long time. You know, he was getting it in early on with the Niners. We love running the game with Frank Gore. So there's no doubt about it. But yeah, right in the middle, right behind, of all people, Marshall Faulk. So I just love the fact that he's in that list between Marshall Faulk and LaDainian Tomlinson. You have Frank Gore. Nothing. You got nothing?
I got nothing.
Tomlinson at 18,456. Barry Sanders. That, everybody, I think most people, when I say who's your favorite running back, they say Barry Sanders.
Favorite running back to watch?
As opposed to do what with?
As opposed to favorite. When you ask people, first of all, in any major sport, whenever you ask that question, you got to be careful how you ask it if you kind of are looking for a certain kind of answer. If you're around a bunch of guys and you're drinking beers and you say, so who do you think was the greatest running back of all time? You're going to get certain answers.
Okay.
And if you ask, who was your favorite running back to watch of all time? Or just like you asked, who's your favorite running back? You're going to get a lot of Barry Sanders. And when you say favorite, what was it so much that you liked about him? Because when you favor something, there's something you like about it. And what you liked about it was you love to watch him run. That's why I say favorite running back to watch, without a doubt, Barry Sanders.
Interesting that you say that. Because you and I, our favorite running back to watch or not to watch, as far as I'm concerned, is Gale Sayers,
no doubt.
All right. One thing we do agree on in life. Barry Sanders, Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen. He will forever be running that play where he reverses field and just turns that thing up. And just like so smoothly runs by like everybody. It was such a beautiful thing.
In the Super Bowl.
Right. Much less. And okay. Again, that was one of the things that makes this thing such a crazy list for Jerry Rice to be a top, is because we've gone down. Everybody else on this list is a running back.
That's correct.
Everybody. Wow. Curtis Martin. Yeah, he was in New York up against your Giants, AFC. What'd you like about Curtis Martin?
Curtis Martin was a good back, a great back, actually, could do everything. Had a few wasted years on some bad teams, played really well for the Patriots as well as the Jets, and was kind of a do-it-all kind of guy in the vein of LaDainian Tomlinson and the guy that you have under him, Thurman Thomas. But I would say that probably – and I can't remember exactly how long he played, but I would say the length of his career might have stifled his numbers a bit. And I would say the same thing about Thurman Thomas. A lot of his production was in that small span of time where the Bills kept going to the Super Bowls and they just had that great team for like 4 to 6 years. They went 4 in a row.
Right.
So about 6 years there, they were like really, really great, a really great team. And he was the starting big time running back there. Now, let me say this. First, I'll say this first. They're all running backs, but the guy at the top of the list is Jerry Rice. When the NFL Network did their poll and took all the votes and did their 100 greatest of all time, it ended up being Jerry Rice at number one. A lot of people believe that he's the greatest football player that ever lived. You will get a lot of arguments because just like that list was loaded with running backs, a lot of people believe that a running back, because of the nature of the position, which has changed over time, but because of the nature of the position, should be noted as an all-time great. Like a lot of people think, who's the greatest basketball player of all time? Jordan? No, Wilt Chamberlain. Well, some people say, well, who's the greatest football player of all time? You say Jerry Rice. I say Jim Brown. Those numbers are important. Super Bowls are important. But if you just go with that list alone, the freaking production, the massive production that guy got in an era when running backs were still prime time major players on every offense. There were very few teams that were considered passing teams back then. Of course, Niners, Bill Walsh.
Thank you.
West
I knew you'd get there. I was just waiting.
Offense.
I was just waiting for it.
All of that had something to do with it. Believe me, that elevated him to that kind of status on a team that I would not consider a passing team. They were a very, very balanced team.
Well, that was the concept. I mean,
Right.
the short, quick pass,
Right,
replaced the run.
right.
So he actually was kind of like a running back, except that because a lot of that was rack yardage.
Well, rather than say he was kind of like a running back, when I think of West Coast, I think the running backs are kind of like receivers.
Well, you're right. It's not either or. You're right. We're right in both cases. Again, that pass, whether you're throwing it to that back or whether you're throwing it to your wideout who's just curling up underneath, right? And the whole play is such that you almost like pitching it out in front of him so he can run right through it and turn that thing up. I mean, I remember Montana's. Let me see if I'm gonna screw this up, and I'm gonna try to say it. He said he said I'm not throwing darts at balloons. I'm throwing balloons at darts.
Mm-hmm.
And we always talked about, even with the Eagles, when Reed came here and tried to run the West Coast, and we're going, you need touch, you need touch and accuracy, top two assets. McNabb, that wasn't his top assets, so it wasn't as efficient. But yeah, Jerry Rice in that system and his capabilities, he put him in obviously at a yardage production that's right there at the top with the best running backs in history. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Okay.
Oh, I got one more thing for you. Looking at that
one more
list,
thing for me.
I got a question.
Okay.
Frank Gore, Hall of Fame.
Well, if you're in the top 10 running backs on the list in terms of production, as far as I'm concerned, top 10 should be in there in the Hall of Fame. All time, why not?
Okay, no question in your mind.
Yeah, no question.
Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, and I think they have an extra place in the Hall of Fame for Niners. So, like, if you're a Niner, you kind of automatically qualify, except maybe for T.O.
Come on, man. Stop.
All right. let's share something else here, Benny. And I normally would put this at the end, but this is an ongoing conversation. So bear with me a second if I can figure out how to do this. Okay, there we go. And so what I have here, let's see if we can, there it is this little piece here from the Players Coalition. So we have a lot of fun, but the Players Coalition is a serious organization, man, and I love that they're dealing with real fundamental issues on a solution type basis, or number one, really recognizing a serious problem and that's affecting people across the board, across a lot of all the time people, poverty, poor people. They're always going to be in situations where it's difficult to afford access to justice. But when you're talking about children and how the rules get applied and how things happen, and even I've seen kind of with this whole immigration thing where they're actually bringing like a 2-year-old into the courtroom with no real representation, and but it's a legal thing that they actually are doing. So access to justice for youth begins with access to an attorney. You know what I do for a living. You could just, I'm going to put my website out there, barrysterlingmitchell.com, right on the front page. We'll talk about your rights. But despite the constitutional right to counsel, that's really difficult. Countless children accused of crimes are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted every year without ever seeing a lawyer. So if you have 80 million, you can bring some light to this situation, and B, maybe you can help provide some of the costs for an attorney, for these children. It could be a fund or something like that. So I just wanted to share that real quick. Anything you got to say?
No, I think it's great that they're bringing it to light. Sounds like something that not a lot of people may actually think about or know about, that this happens constantly, year after year after year. Bringing it to light is great, and hopefully, like you said, they can start a fund or, push some politicians in certain cities, at least the NFL cities, to do something about this, just like what's going on in Philly,
So I just wanted to make sure that we share it. I'm all for it. I support that. Number one, I believe that that's true with the facts. You start with the real fact,
right,
and then you go from there. And
right.
That's what I think they're doing. They're recognizing the problems, especially on an institutional level. And
right.
Be able to do that. And then
I think that's wonderful. And I'm glad to see that. Of course, that'll fly under the radar with the average fan, who thinks that these NFL players and NBA players are just black guys that can run fast and jump high, and they come from nothing, they make millions of dollars, and then they blow it, and that's the last we hear of them. So it's good to see that they're trying to do some positive things out there. We know that they are. We keep up with that stuff. We follow things on Twitter other than people calling each other names and saying so-and-so is stupid.
Oh, we share it on Twitter. If you want to find out what some people that are doing that are positive in the community and things, go to Ben and Barry on Football's Twitter account, because we make it a point to share that stuff. You need to know what these guys are doing, before you try to pass judgments on them, because a lot of that, I'll say one thing, the NFL does a pretty good job of promoting it, putting it on the website, putting it out there, if you were to really go look for it. But these guys aren't necessarily putting it out there like that. But there's a lot going on from the NFL level down to the player level, and then everywhere in between. So there is a lot that's going on out in the community. So we're trying to take full advantage of and look at it. All right. What's next? We go to, oh man. So Benny, I wanted to share some things that we have on social media and what's out in the internet here. We watch every level of football. We try to. Flag football is a growing thing. And, you know, again, that's another area that the NFL seems to have wanted to support. Was it AAFL? The flag, and they're doing it again this year with the $1 million
Oh yeah,
pros deal. So flag is getting some love from the NFL. We talked a little bit about this gentleman who is sponsoring a flag tournaments, and he has a spinal injury. You know, you were aware of that more so than I was.
Yeah, Eric LeGrand some years ago was playing college football at Rutgers and sustained a spinal cord injury that's left him paralyzed. And instead of, you know, just going about his life, he has decided that he wants to be a spokesman and really shed more light on spinal cord injuries, the people that suffer them, the charities that can get some money donated to help people with spinal cord injuries, maybe go toward research and helping people be able to recover and walk again. So he's really into that, and it looks like he's come up with some ways to get some charitable donations for a very worthy cause.
Well, you know, as soon as I saw this, I thought PTTFL. I wonder if anybody from the PTTFL wants to go up and potentially see what they can do, you know, with this particular tournament up there. You guys travel all over the place. You've got national tournament trophies that are about as big as that. What's the little short guy on the Game of Thrones?
I don't watch Game of Thrones, man.
You don't watch Game of Thrones?
No, sir.
Well, you got a trophy that's about his size. I've seen it.
Okay.
So, yeah. In any event, Eric LeGrand, I saw him on Good Morning Football. Hey, look, very positive spirit. Anytime, you know, you can raise money for something like that by playing the game of flag football, I think that's ingenious that he can turn that around and do that. So I just wanted to throw some love out to that, okay?
Okay.
Moving right along. Benny, you brought this up in the last show. You said, we talked about the draft, and you said, did you see him announce the third round? And when you said that, you know, it was a very specific statement, so I took it to heart and when I went to look for it, because I was like, well, if we're going to throw that out there, I'd like to be able to, you know, prove what you said. You know, not that I doubted what you said, but if that's a fact, man, you know, it adds credibility to be able to show something. So every time in my initial searches, everything was about the second round, where what's the word, troll that they use now?
Yeah, right.
Right. And
right.
And so, you know, it was all focused on that. But I literally had to search out for the third round. And that's when I came across this. Let's see. Now. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got it. We got it.
We straight? We good? All right. Because I got clicks. I got heat.
Okay, see now, if you hadn't looked at the video from last week where we talked about the draft, I brought this situation up originally comparing the draft when it was in Philadelphia as opposed to the draft that they just had in Nashville. And I found it interesting that everybody who came, not everybody, but a lot of the ex-players who came up to announce the picks of their original teams seemed to want to engage the crowd in some way. It was more organic when it was in Philadelphia. It sort of kind of just happened, you know what I mean? And it was good-natured as it can be when you're talking about Philadelphia Eagle fans, but good-natured nonetheless, okay? It was good-natured nonetheless. But to me, and this is just my opinion, in Nashville, it seemed to be more manufactured. They kind of seemed to me like whoever was running the show there was telling people to engage the crowd, say something. Evidently, there was some people there who either did not like Reggie Wayne or did not like the Colts. Might have been some Tennessee Titan fans.
Well, wait, real quick, just as an aside, same division?
Yeah, AFC South.
Is that a rivalry?
Well, same division. That's like saying, is the Giants and Washington a rivalry? You're always a rival with the team you play twice a year, especially if they beat you behind every year.
Real hate there, right? Okay, go ahead. So go ahead.
So somebody was giving him the business earlier in the draft because this was the second time he came to the podium.
Right.
So the first time he had a little exchange with somebody, it didn't go real well for him, I don't think. I think he got a little angry. So he comes out again. He goes right to that person and says, "Are we good? Like, you got something else to say?" And I guess they said, "Yeah, we're good." And he goes, "Okay, because I got clips. I got heat." Like, dude, you didn't come to the draft with a gun. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But, dude, that's a joke you joke around with your boys. You don't do that up on the stage of the NFL draft.
I don't joke with my boys about guns.
Exactly.
I got a lot of law enforcement in my family. They all got guns. I know they all got guns.
That's my point.
I don't expect nobody to be around me like that.
That's my point. That's my point exactly.
I live in an anonymous life.
You wouldn't do it with your friends, relatives, and people that are closest to you as a joke. Why would you do it on the stage of the NFL draft with people that you don't know?
This is what we were talking about. And so it's a weird thing because I kind of took it to the thug culture, you know, that kind of permeates across.
Which he should be above.
Which he should be above. Now, as a matter of fact, I'm going to follow it up real quick with something else. So, and this came out in the news. It was kind of sad. And when I thought about it, when we were talking about, I got clips, I got heat. Now let me see if I can. There it is, right there. This is the challenge here. Is this gun culture what it is that we're talking about it on the stage of the NFL? And then a week or so later, we get this kind of news.
Exactly.
You know, and so, you know, where is the thinking of the people who are shooting these kids? You know, this guy was in 8th grade with 2 college offers. And he was a 2-sport athlete. He was dropping some jump shots on the basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you look at the potential economic impact on his family, could change his family for generations. And then he gets a stray bullet, you know, at a prom party. It breaks my heart in the level of stupidity that we're showing. But culture is strong, and maybe I'm out of touch with how many people around me running around packing nowadays. But when you start announcing it from the stage of the NFL, a draft like that, I'm like, come on, Reggie, stop. I'm just like that about it. So, any last thing to say about this?
Have you seen him on NFL Network lately?
No.
Everybody else is on. Everybody else is giving their draft, speculations and what team is going here and there and who do you expect to win this division and that division. All the normal guys are on. I haven't seen him. Now, maybe I missed him. Maybe he's been on. I wasn't watching at the time. But I haven't seen it. And I said at the time that this happened, there could be repercussions.
Consequences.
I didn't get by them. It might have got by the people he was talking to, but it didn't get by the NFL. Trust me.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on that. You heard this here at Ben and Barry on Football. This insight into the mind of the NFL and the machinations. I wish he had done that. All right. Enough of that. There's something else that I wanted to share with the people. And let's see if I can find it. All right. There was the opening of the rookie mini camp this week. And you sent me an article about your Giants.
Yeah.
You said you were hopeful. And
yes.
This is the funky thing that's happening right now. There's such an infusion of talent right now in the NFL, and there's such what's the game with the chairs where everybody starts switching chairs around or something like that? Musical chairs.
Musical chairs.
There's so many musical chairs that I can't wait. I can't wait to see the new Madden where they rank the teams. That's one of the beauties of Madden is that when all this pops up in the game, there's a number there. And they're going to say this team is ranked 72 or 85 or whatever. And they're going to have every player in their attributes all the way out at about a 35 attribute level. So I can't wait to really take a look at that. But you were reading an article about the Giants rookie camp. So with our favorite, I don't know if is Saquon Barkley our favorite running back in the league today?
He's mine.
He's probably mine too.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful.
Well, we have Corey. We have we like Corey Clement. He's our young boy, but Saquon is doing it at a whole nother level, and we gotta and both of them are super nice guys. Saquon is almost super duper nice. So when you're running 2,000 yards and you're super duper nice, it's hard not to be the favorite running back in the NFL right now. What'd you say?
Well, he's probably the favorite to watch.
The favorite to you go with that watch stuff.
You know how people are nowadays, man. When you're talking about old guys and the old retired dudes and all-time lists and stuff, people are going to answer you differently than they will when it comes to current people because they love their team so much. So they want to be with their guy, They want to have a favorite guy on their schedule if they can.
People can't break out of their bias to have a favorite sports figure.
It's difficult, man. It's difficult. I'm around guys and I'm around young guys on the weekends when I'm coaching. And you should hear some of the stuff these guys say.
Well, we're consummate examples of, I believe, that the integrity then with going against the bias, which is a Sterling Net Point Power ranking word now, bias, and that our favorite running back, I guess to watch in your case, is Gale Sayers, who did not play for either of our favorite teams.
Right.
There you go.
Right. But here's the thing. First of all, you got to really love football, really, to give a good answer to a question like that. But even if you don't, if you can appreciate athleticism, and somebody puts on tape of Gale Sayers, you will be spellbound. You'll be spellbound. And believe me, I can watch LaDainian all day. I can. Frank Gore would be kind of hard to watch all day because Frank Gore's thing is longevity, you know. But you can't say he's not a great back. But backs to watch, Gale Sayers and Barry Sanders the stuff they did on the field is just mind-boggling. If you don't love watching that, there's something wrong with you.
That's part of the thing about football. There's such a flow to it when a running back's running the ball and things are moving, you know, and Barry Sanders having that ability to stop, start, see things, you know. I forget who it was, if it was Gale Sayers that said he could see things like 2 levels down.
Yep.
So, you know, his move wasn't just to get by you. It was setting you up to get by him and him. But
vision.
Vision. Yeah, but
all about vision.
Yeah, but
Barry Sanders had great vision.
That's a constructive vision. That's knowing what you're looking for. That's building something. You're setting things up. You know what I mean? Not just saying what's there. You're literally taking them this way because you want the wave to go like this. But Barry, we saw him just spin around the body of people.
Right.
And when they're looking over one shoulder, oh, he's over the other shoulder. Gale would just flow through people, and you would see him fall. He would cut back, and they would fall down. That's what I loved about Gale Sayers. Is one thing that I could quantify for Gale Sayers was how many people he made fall on one cut.
Right.
3 to 4 on one cut go down.
Yep.
on the Gale Sayers move. So
when we talk about backs like those guys and how much I love to watch them, and I've seen film and I've seen the same film over and over and over again. Sometimes when I watch it, I don't watch them run. I watch the players that are trying to tackle them. I actually focus on the players that are coming after them or running up to them or attempting to make some kind of a play on them, and just watch those guys. It's Keystone Cops. It's crazy.
So let's take this one step into the people that we're looking at today.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Now, if it's one guy that everybody just wants to look at and see this guy play, it was the guy that I wanted to go to my Niners, who's now with the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, because his movement, it was lack of movement on the shuttle, but his 4.33 speed at his size, etc. Everybody wants to see how this is all going to work. But it was interesting. I saw a report today that said he looks like he's in mid-season form.
In minicamp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, now we realize it's rookie on rookie, you know, et cetera, et cetera. But that's an interesting statement to say about a draftee, a brand new rookie.
Well, I mean, the guy's obviously a workout warrior. You can look at his body and tell that. So if he never gets out of shape, then physically he probably is in midseason form. But is he in midseason form in his route running? Is he in midseason form in catching the ball? Is he in midseason form in knowing the playbook? Probably not.
Well, catching the ball, if he was going to be in midseason, I think he can catch. I don't have a problem with his catching. There was a question as to him catching in traffic. As a matter of fact, it'll be interesting. Madden will rate him in that too. But what I guess by default, I now have a DK Metcalf watch going on because we're in the same division. He's in my division. So it's like, what is this guy going to do? I could see him playing a little bit of tight end. He's 6'3", right? He's big enough,
You're killing me, man.
I put him in there, man.
You're killing me.
Every linebacker to death.
You're killing me right now.
Isolate a linebacker here or there. Just let me just see what I can do against this one guy. Yes, I would.
You're killing me, man. you go ahead and have your DK watch, okay? If I was you,
okay,
which I'm not, but if I was you, the Niners fan, I would be having a Jerick McKinnon watch right now and a Tevin Coleman watch right now. Because your boy Breida is about to be out of a job.
We do have a wealth of.
That's what you need to watch.
We do have a wealth of running backs right now.
Yes, you do.
And I don't think we need to do anything until the end of camp.
Obviously not.
Because odds are one of them guys is going to be hurt before the season even starts.
That could happen.
It can be some natural thinning out here. McKinnon is still kind of small, but it is going to be interesting to see because let's face it, Breida's a bad boy, and I think if you're just going to – but the way they brought people in, it's almost like with the Eagles. It's like, okay, so you obviously didn't think that the running backs you had was good enough. You know what I mean? So you went out and you got other running backs. So that automatically says what management thinks about, the coaching thinks about the existing stock. Because nobody, hey, look, they went out. Who was it? The Rams? Didn't the Rams bring in a running back?
Yeah, out of necessity.
Because they let the other guy go, right? He went. Where did he go? Did he go to Buffalo?
I forget his name, Malcolm something. He wasn't
the little bowling ball guy that came in at the end of the season for the Rams.
EJ Anderson.
EJ, yeah. He got picked up somewhere, but you had to replace him. You had to have that second guy because you have that shadow hanging over Gurley as to whether or not he is.
Well, if you're smart, you're going to carry 4 or 5 running backs.
Okay.
Every NFL team is going to carry 4 to 5 running backs.
Why would they get rid of Breida then?
I didn't say they would get rid of him necessarily like they don't want him. What I'm saying is over the course of mini camp and training camp and all that, they will decide of all the running backs that they have, because I'm sure right now there's probably 10 of them in camp, or when training camp actually starts, there will be at least 10 of them. They're going to whittle down to the 4 or 5 they want to keep. And if somebody else gets hurt, you're lacking at a position, you're going to have to see maybe if one of them is going to bring you something in a trade.
Well, okay, all right. All that's possible. The good thing we have going for us is we have not just a tight end who's an all pro, but we have a fullback who can be like a power back. So with all of those 3 guys, they need at least 3 really good running backs. They got a 3-man tandem back there. One of the things that Kyle Shanahan did with the Falcons so successfully was spread the ball around. And I think he broke a record for the most number of players who scored in any one particular season. Because he had people scoring from all over the place. So he likes diversity in his attack. We'll see. Right now, he looks like he's got the kind of players that if you really want like a diverse attack, I would have got DK. I would have had my diverse attack with him. But I'm interested to see what Debo does and and what they're able to do with their running back. Okay. So.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Well,
I didn't come on here to talk about the damn 49ers.
But you can't talk about football.
Yeah, you can.
Without talking about the 49ers.
Yes, you can.
It's like gravity. You just have to.
There are some football conversations that you cannot have without the 49ers.
Somewhere.
This is not one of them.
Every conversation is going to be at least 6 degrees of separation from the 49ers. No doubt.
That's not true.
At least 6 degrees of separation.
That's not true.
That's okay. That's all right. We understand. Look, Benny, anything in particular? Because if not, we're going to hit the social media.
Yeah. When DK Metcalf proves to be a one-trick pony, like I've been telling you, you're going to admit it to me on here.
Oh, I don't have a problem with that. Because
that's what the conversation was about, not about the 49ers. I'm trying to tell you, you need to focus on your squad and stop tripping over the guy that you wanted so bad and didn't get. You're just putting salt into your own wound.
Well, that he's in my division, so it's all about.
If he turns out to be great and he kills you, then you're gonna hate yourself even more and hate your team for not getting him. And if he doesn't do nothing,
I'm not a hater. I'm not gonna hate myself.
If he turns into Darius Hayward Bay, then what are you gonna do?
What's weird about this is because of me wanting him to go to the. I kind of hope he succeeds. I don't necessarily want him to have 500 yards against my Niners.
I hope he succeeds.
I'm kind of rooting for the guy. I hope he succeeds.
I hope he succeeds too. I'm just telling you, you're wasting your time tripping over this dude. He ain't gonna be that good.
And I got plenty of time to trip. What the hell? DK, let me see what you're gonna do. Hey man, DK's a crier though. I'll tell you this much. He's a crier.
Give me a break.
He is a crier. That's one of the things. All right, look. Let's go down here to social media. And I said at the beginning of the show, this is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produced the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. This is the Facebook page for the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings. What we do is we rank the teams by net points. We want to know, we let you know early who the bully is and how big a bully he is, because the numbers will tell you, and it's very starkly a reminder that, of who the power player is in any particular week, and we'll watch that change. So we'll track that with the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings, and we'll talk about the bias, which is what the team with the strongest net points gets whenever he's matched up against an opponent. So we actually have a football meaning for the word bias when we talk about it here. Ben has utilized it to some degree in his fantasy football pursuits. He's the fantasy guy. I'm the Madden guy. And the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings is that page. Anything to say about that, mister?
Well, the only thing I would say about that is because the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings are real, and because although fantasy football is called fantasy, what it's really based on is real, then the correlation is very strong. The information that I get about the teams and how they're ranked by net points definitely helps me in fantasy football and choosing players that I want to have on my fantasy teams and who I will start, especially who I will start from week to week based on the matchups and based on how well their teams are doing in the different categories. Whereas in Madden, it probably doesn't help you at all, because Madden works based on the rankings based on the Madden rankings, and not necessarily what happens from week to week.
Well, the teams do change in their rankings as the season goes on with Madden. They do make adjustments in strength of teams, especially
right. But if the best team,
when personnel changes
against you, if I'm playing against you and I'm playing with the highest rated team and you're playing with the lowest rated team, you're still going to beat me.
Well, that's because you stink. But
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
If I'm playing against someone who's equally skilled with me, as I am, and he's playing with the superior team, I'm going to struggle because I'm going to lose matchups, and I'm going to look up and, Brown's going to go by my receiver, my corner, because my corner's only got, 80 speed. This one's got 99 speed. and I just missed it. That's all you got to do is miss one time. That's the thing about DK. He could catch 3 balls. It could be 3 touchdowns. You know, you could say, oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But if he's producing points, then, you know, it's going to be interesting.
Dude.
Sterling net point power ranking.
Please stop with the DK. Stop. Please stop. I'm begging you.
Ben and Barry on football on Facebook at BNBOF. We used to look like that, ladies and germs, a long, long time ago. We actually, hey, there he is. But what did he say? That's the question. We talked about some of the stuff that we like. Ben, is that DK Metcalf?
Please stop with the DK Metcalf.
Is that 4.33 speed?
Jesus, who cares?
What about this picture? Look at that group.
It's a nice group.
That's a heck of a group.
On the, oh, that's Randy.
That's Randy on the end. That's goats. Goats straight across.
Them goats. Jeez.
Goats.
Yeah. Larry Fitzgerald, he'll be in as soon as he quits. He'll be first ballot.
He'll be first ballot. Ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's our boy Bosa.
See, these are the guys you should be worried about. You should be worried about Deebo Samuels. You should be worried about Bosa. You should be worried about can Jerick McKinnon come back. This is what you should be concentrating on.
Speaking of concentrating, I'm thinking about playing Patrick Mahomes in some Madden, baby.
As you should.
I got to check this out. I really haven't. It's been a crazy week. You know what's been going on in personal. I have family with medical issues and things of that nature. But omaze.com/Mahomes. And again, this is a charity situation. So the young boy wants to play somebody in some Madden. I'm scared already, but I think it's fun. Hey, Isaiah Crowell out already. I took a look and you heard about that?
Yeah, that's a tough situation. Rumor has it that the Raiders are going to reach out to Marshawn and see if they can get him to come back. But they did draft the running back from Alabama, so he's got a good chance to start. Probably had a good chance to start anyway, but
I don't think he had a good chance to start. I think he was the starting running back.
Well, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Well, I mean, I don't see. Unlike you and your DK man crush, I like to let these rookies come in and prove they can play NFL football first before I anoint them.
Well, I'm sure you would like to, but you didn't draft him. Like, what did he get drafted? 3rd overall, something like that?
No, it wasn't that high.
Maybe it's a little bit further, but his first round.
Yeah, they had 3 picks.
Right, exactly. So there's no doubt when they went and got him that he was the running back. They expect him to come in and play right away. I don't think there's really a question about that. Anytime Beast Mode went on and retired, he's like, well, they don't need me no more. They got that boy from Alabama.
Yeah, they probably do expect him to be the starter, but he still got to play NFL football.
No doubt about it. I expect that he should be able to play. Did you know 28% of these people who have these Achilles injuries, but it's a season-ending injury.
It's always a season-ending injury. You can't come back from Achilles. Achilles takes 6 months. It's 6 months before you can even start to rehab it.
6 months.
Yep.
Did you see what's his name on Good Morning Football? He ruptured his Achilles in a commercial doing a spot. He jumped up.
Who did that?
What's the guy that used to be Kyle?
Oh, that goofball.
He is funny. I love him. Wait a minute. Ronnie Lott alert. Happy birthday, Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott alert. Happy birthday, Ronnie Lott.
Yo, tell me this.
All right, go ahead.
When they put the candles on his birthday cake, were they all like little fingers? They put a bunch of little fingers and light him.
replicas of the digits that he gave up. Oh, you're killing me here.
That's a man right there.
Little finger. Oh, yeah.
The guy right there, that's a man. They told him, you need to get surgery on your finger. You might miss a couple of games. He said, miss a couple of games? Cut it off. I ain't missing nothing.
I ain't missing this game. What are you talking about? Send me back out, coach. Put me in, coach. That's the ultimate put me in, coach, right there. I don't know what the heck that is, but in any event, we are at the Twitter, the home of Ben and Barry on football. Thing I like about our Twitter, we always talk about it. We do our best to make some really good friends. I hope this is moving here. We do our best to make some really good friends that we can share with people on the Twitter page. All right, something's weird. Okay, let's try this over here. I wanted to see the page where we have all of the people. All right, I'm gonna try this one more time. There we go. So you can kind of see a little bit about some of the people that we're following. If you really want to tune in on what's going on across the NFL. Hey, look, Ben, I follow Kirk Cousins. You didn't think I did you? Did you?
Do I have to comment? Don't make me comment on that.
I follow Kirk Cousins. You keep talking about how much I don't like.
You're following him so you can see how he spends his money.
I admire how he spends his money. The man is frugal. Look, I don't think he has anything on you, but he's frugal. No doubt about it.
Is he still driving it? He's still driving that Toyota, that
the van or something?
87 Toyota.
No. He's determined to get 400,000 miles on that thing when he turns it over. Then he's going to go looking for a used car. The AFI, we talked about what's happening, what's going on internationally in Florida. If you want to find that out, follow the AFI. We follow some of these brainiacs. This is my girl, Cynthia Freeland. Cynthia Freeland writes code and does all types of mathematical stuff and comes out with numbers, but she's like a walking, beautiful computer of a person. It's absolutely amazing. And everybody just kind of looks at her because when she throws it out, her numbers is actual numbers. So however she manipulates that information and writes the code and comes out with an algorithm and tells you who's going to win on Monday night, she does it through algorithms. We do it through net points. Ours is much more dumbed down, much more than that. But it's amazing watching her. I really like her.
Yeah, you know what, though? If you really watch her and listen to her, she's not just an analytical person. She knows football.
Well, yeah. You know, she's kind of athletic, so I think she kind of can feel it. You can see, you know, but she knows, she's got a mind trap or mind that's like a trap there. Our friend Tiffany Blackman, Evan Silva, you know, so yeah, come check us out. There's Quentin Williams, my man with the double stuffed Oreos, running a tremendous time in the 40 for a big guy, big lineman, big D lineman guy. So in any event, there you go. We are on Instagram. What do you got to say there, Benny? I still think that's hilarious.
Whatever.
And if you go to Ben and Barry on football.com, you will land in YouTube land at this website where you can see all of the previous shows where we talked about so many things. Ben, tell them what we've talked about.
Lately?
Over the last year.
Well, you know, this is the thing. It's funny, when we first started doing this, we did it because we wanted to bring the net point power rankings to light and let people see what they were all about and find out some of the things that we found out about how accurate they can be. And then the off season came. And we kind of sat around and went, it's the off season. Now what? But football never stops.
We actually
always something.
We actually learned that this year, right?
Yeah.
How much of the
times when we were thinking, well, what are we going to talk about? But every week we find something to talk about, just about every week. I don't think we missed maybe just a couple. So
we might have actually been all enthralled with the NBA playoff action.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah, but I mean,
really thinking about football normally at this time of year.
Well, now this time of year, as of like right now, I do, because as you noted earlier, some of the fantasy rankings are out already. So this is the time of year when I start to focus on football. But you can't not think about the draft. Upcoming, we got the Hall of Fame. Then the preseason starts and it's on.
It's on, baby.
And free agency has been hot and heavy this season.
If the free agent market is valued like the draft market was, where you saw the quarterbacks got picked and you had linemen and running backs way before you had wide receivers. It was kind of weird to see the pecking order of value in the NFL, as it played out in the draft. And I'm wondering how much of that thinking now is playing itself out, going to continue to play itself out in the balance of free agency, because we all know, like, again, late in the season, running backs, I don't think they expected Breesmo to come back right away. Like, I think they were kind of talking to him like, are you going to be available come week 8? If we want to come at you. And he probably was like, yeah, I'll come in. He probably go in the gym, eat some Skittles.
Okay. Do you really trust Marshawn Lynch to be ready week 8? Before camp has even started and you ask him, you think if we need to call you around week 8 or week 9, you think you could come right in? Of course he's going to say yes. He don't want to go to training camp anyway.
What's he going to do? He's going to be a power runner. He's going to run in the hole number 1,
he's
2.
He's going to be fat.
That's okay with him.
And he's going to tell them, if you think you're going to need me around week 8, you best call me around week 6 because I'm going to be smoking hella weed and I'm going to have to clean my system out. I'm just saying. You want me to be honest?
I was trying to give Beast Mode a little love, and you just blew.
I'm giving him love, man. I'm giving him love. This is if they came to him and asked him that, I'm sure he would be honest and he would tell them.
Well,
think you're gonna need me. Try to give me a little heads up so I can get myself together. I'm not saying I'm not gonna be working out. I'm gonna go to the gym 2-3 times a week.
That's all he needs to do.
Do you think so? His last 2 years wasn't so great. Think he can sit on his couch for half a year and come back and be viable.
Look, there's certain things he probably can still do good. Don't ask him to do the other stuff. Then you'll be okay.
Wow. But you give this guy a lot of credit.
Up the guard. Goal line.
You're giving this guy a lot of credit, man. Beast mode ain't beast mode no more.
Ain't beast mode no more?
No more.
Okay, all right.
Now what makes sense is for Tom Brady to tell Gronk, listen, be ready around week 8, 9, 10. Be ready to come back after our bye week, whenever that is. And Gronk would do that for Brady. And he'll be ready, and he'll come right in and catch 6 passes for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. Day 1.
All right, Ben. Moving right along. Before we go, there was something else we were talking about. And, I'm a systems guy. So when I saw that, I'm talking about the Cardinals, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler, Keyshawn Johnson, with the new air raid system, it occurred to me that when's the last time a coach came out of college with an intact system that he was now going to install on a team in the NFL and then go and compete with his new system?
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was the last one that came in. Would you say Chip Kelly had a measure of success?
A measure of success?
A measure. That's all.
Yeah, it was measurable.
Okay, he had a measure of success. But what happened with him, there was some fundamentals to the game that I think he tried to ignore and thought he was smart enough to get around. And one of them was clock management, time of possession, things of that nature. He tried to replace that with numbers of plays and wound up wearing his defenses out, and he could never truly stop anybody. So that was the only way he could beat you was to outscore you. So now you have the air raid offense with Kyler Murray coming in. You have the coach, that's his system. You have Kyler Murray, who played in that system, am I right?
Yes.
So Kyler Murray has executed that system through college, and now they've gone out and they brought in these speedy draftees, and it looks like it's full on for the air raid system in Arizona.
Okay.
Full on. So we'll see if he can have a measure of success. Another person in my Niners division, but this is an all new thing. I mean, they're really coming in, and he's not just coming in like, think about the Green Bay has a new quarterback. I mean, a new coach, right?
Right.
Do you think the system that he's bringing is as well defined as what they're going to, as this air raid system, for example? I don't really even know what he's going to run. I think he's going to run whatever Aaron Rodgers tells him to run, but
no, he's gonna basically stick to what Green Bay's doing. I mean, he's a Green Bay coach.
So whatever Green Bay
system.
Green Bay wasn't being accused of having the most imaginative offense.
No, they were running their version of the West Coast. The West Coast offense has been dissected and split and stretched, and you got the Andy Reid version, you got the Green Bay version.
You can't even recognize the Andy Reid version. He's lining up in the pistol.
I understand that, but when you say,
I'm agreeing with you. You know, it's no more West Coast as ever it was.
No. But when you say, I wonder what system he's going to run, I don't think he's going to do much different from what they've been running.
So you have this well-defined system coming in called the air raid that's going to be, looked at and dissected. So it'll be interesting to see how the NFL reacts to this. But it just struck me that this was Chip-like in that you got this guy coming in from college with a defined system. And we're going to talk a little more about it in some future shows. We're going to kind of break down. You talked about it being like a run and shoot, and you were pretty much on time with that. But we're going to break it down because apparently, like with Chip and that whole read option thing and all of the coaches who built that up and made that into a thing, apparently there is the same type of thing going on with the air raid offense where they built this into a thing now in the NCAA. So we'll see if that thing can survive in the new in the NFL. So that's going to be interesting. So, okay, any last words?
Do I get a rant?
You want a rant? You feeling rant-like? Feeling rantish?
You see this, Ray?
Oh, no!
You see this?
No! I said basketball. Dude.
You see this? Can you believe that game last night? Are you kidding me?
Kid from Doherty got off last night. I was like, alumni
it's about
in the
time.
house.
It's about time. He ain't done nothing since. Yeah. He finally had a game. He was overdue.
Well,
with that.
If he's overdue one more time like that, y'all done. Stick a fork in you.
Listen,
I'm
man.
giving you those fishing hooks.
It doesn't matter how well he plays. It only matters how well Kawhi Leonard and Pascal Siakam play. Kyle Lowry don't have to do nothing but pass them the ball. And if they play well, they will win. And the chances of them playing well, as opposed to Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons playing well,
what you gonna say?
is like that. Can I get it all on the screen?
Really?
If I had to bet money
Really?
on Siakam and Leonard playing well, and Simmons and Embiid playing well, Simmons and Embiid are down here. Siakam and Leonard are up here.
Well, this is
trusted.
This is interesting in what I saw in this, because you mentioned Siakam and you mentioned Ben Simmons, right? And on the Ben Simmons side, his lack of a medium jump shot, right, means that other than, playing point guard or point forward, whatever it is, in terms of scoring, his main scoring capabilities is when he actually goes hard to the hoop, especially if he can get a matchup against somebody that's a little smaller now. He actually is not bad, but that aggression isn't really built in. He doesn't have that Michael Jordan, Kobe mindset that I'm gonna use all his height and go at you. And so if he does that, I think it'll help the Sixers a lot if they change that mindset. On the same token, Siakam shot the Sixers into the game in that last game here in Philly, going 0 for 4 from 3-point land. And I'm like, dude, if you take another 3-pointer, I'm going to come over there and slap you because you're killing your own team. But then he actually scored on the dunk, and now it seems he is actually focusing on taking the ball hard to the rim. So if those two stay focused on getting the ball hard to the rim, it's going to really make the next, they got 3 games?
It's the best of 3 series right now.
Best of 3 series. It's going to make it very interesting. Embiid, he's got health issues. I think that's, it's kind of I'm thinking a little green cloud there, man, from the process. I hate to say it, but, he's one of those guys interesting, and he got trolled by Drake, right? Because when the Sixers,
the whole stadium trolled him.
The whole stadium. I just saw Drake do it.
They were all doing it, and he deserved it.
Yes, he did. He absolutely did. Because when you lose, but something. Let's talk about and you said it. What's his name from the Spurs?
Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi is just the quietest, meekest, mildest assassin in the world. I mean, even when he slams it with authority, it's still just not. It's not showboaty-ish.
Everything he does is smooth, man. Everything he does is smooth. You know who he reminds me of? And this is funny because I heard somebody during the broadcast of the game, because I cut the game off 9 minutes into when it was 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They took Embiid out, waved the white flag. I turned it off. Okay, but a little earlier than that, he was coming to the foul line. He's about to shoot some foul shots, Kawhi, and the guy called him the Claw. You know who they used to call the Claw? You just can't think of it.
Before Dr. J. Clyde.
No, was the doctor. Before he was the doctor, he was the Claw.
Okay, it was the doctor. Okay, I was thinking
when he played at Rucker Park, they called him the Claw. He said he didn't like it.
Yeah.
But then somebody said, "Oh, he's about to operate. He's the doctor," blah, 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 and he adopted that name. But yes, and he reminds me of Doc.
I shook his hand once. He had the biggest, softest hands I've ever. His hands literally felt like they had never, ever, ever touched manual labor.
They haven't.
Never, ever, ever touched manual labor.
They haven't. Which brings me back to my rant. Everybody keeps saying, if Ben Simmons would just go to the basket hard, he's not going to go to the basket hard. He's not going to shoot, and he's not going to go to the basket hard. You know why?
Why?
He sucks from the foul line, too. He shies away from contact. The guy on the radio this morning was losing his mind. He said, I never seen a fall away layup.
Really? I didn't hear that.
A fall away layup. He's afraid of contact.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because in the Rockets-Warriors game, the coach for the Warriors said he felt like the players on the Rockets were like linebackers compared to his wide receivers or something.
Because they were going to the hole hard. They were taking it to the hole. They were going for their layups and trying to get them and ones and go to the line and make their foul shots. You foul me, I miss, I get 2 shots. You foul me, I get an and one. And we going to score and keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. That messes up their defensive matchups.
The interesting thing is they actually shot more threes than the Warriors and had a better percentage in the 3-point shooting than the board. So they've actually
because when you take it to the hole, they have to respect that. Now. When you take it to the hole hard and don't get to the rim and then kick it back out, but take it to the rim, now every time you get the ball at the top, they back off.
They have to collapse to the basket. Exactly.
I'll take the open 3.
Because he has the height advantage against most guards, you know, and he's got the ball. In any event,
that's my rant. Yo, this is my rant, man. The guy comes out in warm-ups and shoots jumpers. I've seen video of him in practice shooting jumpers. And then he gets in the game and he will not shoot. He won't do it.
Now, when you see him in warm-ups, he's draining these jumpers in warm-ups?
Yeah. Sometimes. His jumper's better than his foul shooting. His foul shooting is abysmal. This is my thing. And I can't say I originated this question. I heard someone else ask it, but I'm going to ask this question. This guy's been playing basketball. His father played in Europe, in Australia. He's been playing basketball ever since he was big enough to bounce the ball. By the time he was 12, 13, 14 years old, he was marked to go to the NBA. He knew it. Every AAU coach knew it. Everybody knew it. In all that time, you're in your 20s now. You mean to tell me that you have no faith in any way, shape, or form of a jump shot? Not a mid-range, not a 3, not a nothing, not a jump hook, not nothing? How can you call yourself a basketball player? When you're not, how can you consider yourself a point guard when you have no consideration for scoring unless you have an open lane to drive down and dunk or lay the ball up, or you have a smaller guy on you? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. They're going to continue to make the playoffs and lose unless he changes his game or they trade him. That's it. That's it. How can you play basketball this long and not even attempt? You watch the game. You watch the games. Have you been watching them?
Yeah.
You've seen opportunities for him to take a little 12-footer.
I just told you I just said. It's a change in mindset. If Siaka's changing mindset is to stop shooting those threes, okay?
No. That's one game. This guy hasn't shot a jumper in years. In years. And Siakam has a green light, and he can make them. The deal is he will shoot.
Yes, he will. We
Ben
trying to get
Simmons
him
will not.
so much and take it to the hole, and y'all trying to get Ben Simmons to actually shoot the damn ball.
How can he not understand that he is limiting himself by not shooting the ball?
You and I know about a balanced basketball skill set, the ability to do certain things, that are fundamental. And it's the fundamental people who go to superstardom. Larry Bird wasn't the biggest, the fastest, or whatever, but his fundamental skill sets were so high. He could shoot, he could dribble, he could rebound. And so these are what makes superstars, and these guys that, they raise their whole level. Ben Simmons he's either going to do, they just got rid of Fultz because he had a mental thing about shooting, whatever his mental thing was. And he
had a mental thing about his shoulder.
Whatever it was, he wasn't scoring off of no jump shots and no shots. And he was too small to go to the hole. At least
what did he do?
Ben Simmons.
He went to a sports psychologist.
Huh?
He got the yips. He got the yips, man.
You saying Simmons has the yips too?
Simmons has the yips.
Okay. It's official, ladies and gentlemen.
He's got the yips. That's all I got to say. That's the answer. That's the answer. Your team is going to go down in flames because you just don't want to do something.
I think it's beyond not wanting to. There's something, again, it's a wiring thing there. And,
then go see a sports psychologist because you got the yips.
Thing,
He's got the yips. It's in there. That's the yips.
Okay. Well, if he's got the yips, you can change your mind, but it's a hard thing to change, especially if it's something, in there. Like he might see himself as a 6-foot point guard,
No.
But whereas what's the name in Boston sees himself as a 6'9" forward point guard, and he's not scoring worth a damn right now. What's his name? Uncle Drew?
Kyrie Irving. Yeah, but he could turn it on and off when he wants to.
I think
he's going to have a bad game once in a while.
Starter is not working the way he thinks it should.
Right, but he will shoot the ball.
Oh, the mindset is
he's going to make them. Sometimes he's not. And most of the time he will. Steph Curry ain't scoring great either. Steph Curry missed like 5 layups, but he took it all the way to the hole. All the way.
It's there. That's what I'm saying.
He's a little guy.
For those guys. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm done, man. Enough of this basketball talk. I'll tell you this, though.
Before you go, what do you think about Embiid shooting threes?
I don't have a problem with Embiid shooting threes because he can make them. My problem with Embiid shooting three, the only part about that is, to me, is his timing. He doesn't take them at the right time all the time. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to let him have that. Most of the time, the guy that's covering him is not going to come out and defend his three. So he usually gets pretty wide open threes, and he can make them. But like you were talking about, Siakam shooting his team out of the game, he has a tendency to do that. I think it's laziness myself. I don't think he's in the best of shape. Screw that being sick and all that. I've been watching him all season. I don't think he's in the greatest of shape, okay? And that little spin dribble move that he got, he needs a new one. He done wore that one out. Everybody knows that one now. Dude stole the ball from him last night and was laughing running back down the court.
I saw the spin dribble coming.
These young boys is lazy, man.
The announcer's like, and he's going to go the spin dribble.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the spin dribble.
Exactly. If you're going to have and it's slow as hell.
These tall guys dribbling the ball, the short guys are taking advantage of them, because I'm seeing it with KD too. KD put the ball down. Somebody was running. Them little guys was running right through his legs, snatching the ball and going down.
They go right at you.
It's like,
they're like, oh, these tall guys that can handle got the advantage over the small guys trying to cover them. But there's one advantage they don't have. You put that ball on the floor, them little quick dudes is going at it. That's their only chance.
Once
They're not
that
going to
ball
block your
leaves
shot.
hand, once it's in traveling down or traveling up, them little guys is coming. They're coming through.
Absolutely.
Get that thing. So, okay, absolutely, absolutely. Again, I don't have a rant per se. We already talked about the things that I thought were most serious. The Players Coalition talking about children being tried and convicted without any legal representation. The Reggie Wayne situation on the stage talking about I got clips, I got heat, in the face of the young man, the young promising 8-year-old with 2 college football scholars, 8th grader rather, 8-year-old, right? 8th grader with 2 college football scholarships getting caught in some crossfire at a prom party. There's a lot of work to be done on our side and across the board, and so it doesn't help. I think to we have to recognize when we get caught up in a culture of a lady asked on my Facebook page, what do we need to do to move ahead? And I said we gotta cast off the whole thug gangster culture as being something that is to be imitated. We got to move beyond that. I always remember, and back in the Cribs days when on MTV Cribs, and they would go through all the rappers' homes, and I always had a big picture of Scarface up on the wall. You don't remember? You can say you remember.
Yep.
I was in a what was the name of the Islamic fish place up by Wadsworth Avenue that everybody used to go to all the time?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had the fish hoagies.
Yeah.
And they had Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
Up on the wall.
Trifecta. Trifecta.
When I asked the lady about, really, y'all got Ghostface Killer there, but she was like, he's a family man.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
What a coincidence. I'm watching Jalen and Jacoby, and Jalen Rose, who I really love. I'm really starting to really get into Jalen Rose, said one of the most underrated MCs of all time, Ghostface Killer, because they named a street after the Wu-Tang Clan up in Staten Island. Oh man, that was yesterday.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I mean, I would give him some props. My favorite is the RZA coming out of that whole thing, but I'd give him some props. But I'm not putting him up here with Malcolm X and Martin Luther.
Yeah, that's something about that just ain't right. But you know what? I'll give him an A for effort.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the main thing we do. So that's about as close to a rant as I have. That's it for me. Anything from you?
Go Noles.
Go Noles. Absolutely.